Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And has it now come to the time when all of the Tory MPs have decided now too much is too much, and Boris Johnson is one complete and utter liability, and we will no longer be part of this absolute clown show that is Boris the Pfeffel Alexandra Johnson. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me. A special thanks to everybody who signed up for the channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go for all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So it seems yesterday there was the special vote in Parliament to see whether or not Boris Johnson misled Parliament, which we all know that he misled Parliament because we all saw it with our own eyes. We heard it with our ears. He stood there misleading the whole country, telling us, oh, you must stay home. Don't go to parties. He wrote to a 7-year-old child to tell her, well done for not having your party. Her 7th birthday party. Well done, he said to her. He was having press conferences, and then after the press conference he would go and have a party after he's had the press conference, and then he would still have the cheek and the audacity to turn around to you and say to you, I didn't realise I was breaking my own rules. So his defence is, I'm completely incompetent. I am a 100% person who is 100% incompetent because I don't even know about my very own laws. I don't know about the laws I'm passing, so, how would I know? That defence, is possibly the worst you could, he was better off just saying, well, you know what, I had parties. What did you want? What, and what? I'm better than all of you. That's why I had parties, because, didn't you read the letter from my old school headmaster, from my old school housemaster, when he said, Boris seems to think us imposing rules on him is churlish. Boris thinks that rules that are made for human beings are not made for him. They're churlish. No rules for him. So where he just thinks to himself that he can just just constantly just break the rules all the time. Now he's got to a stage where the Tory MPs are no longer decided. They say, well, we're no longer backing this man up. Because you know what, someone who can just say, well, you know what, it's because I'm incompetent, that's the reason why I misled Parliament, because I didn't know whether or not I was breaking the rules that I set for the country. How would I know? So how can you trust Boris Johnson with anything if he doesn't know, right, about his own rules? I mean, what sort of trade deals can you trust him with? Because he won't understand them. I mean, he can't understand his own rules. So how can he understand the trade deal? How can he understand the NHS? How can he understand how to run the transport service? How can he understand any of these things if he can openly admit to you, well, I did not understand? That's what the problem was. So even people like Steve Baker, right, who apparently his title is the hard man of Brexit, Steve Baker. Don't look too much like a hard man to me. But even people like him have come out now and said, no, you know what, you can't be doing this no longer. We can't be dealing with this any longer, because all those people there must be getting so many letters from their constituents to say, well, listen, you know what, you're taking the piss now. So with the vote yesterday, there was no vote because the Tories just let it go through, because en masse Tory MP backbenchers and ministers was ready to resign over this whole thing. They said, we are no longer backing this man. Right, so much of them come out. Obviously, you've got your Nadine Dorris and the other guy with the fucked up hair. Right, you've got all those type of people, right, who obviously they're so far up Boris Johnson's backside, you can't tell where he starts and they end. Right, but He's got all those people backing him up, but all your real like hardcore Brexiters, right, are now just like, you know what, this is, you know what, he done the whole Brexit thing. Well, we say Brexit is done. We all know that Brexit isn't really done, but you know they say, well, he done that, but you know what, all of this nonsense, this because your Premiership's not supposed to be caught up with all of this type of bullshit. This shows you from the beginning, right, that Boris Johnson, right, was not rated for the job. Right? And now, right, you're going to trust a man, right, to go to India to go and cut trade deals, who's already told you, well, I'm so incompetent that I didn't realise what was going on. And you see, when you go to India to cut trade deals, right, you know, the Indians can just take liberties now. Because Boris Johnson, the whole Russia thing, Boris Johnson, you know, was talking about, oh well, you know, he's going to go over there and demand, right, that the Indians stop taking they stop having so much Russian money involved in India. And say, well, shouldn't you first be dealing with that at home? Like, you know, maybe the people who paid you, I don't know how much hundreds of thousands of pounds it was to play a game of tennis with you, or all the donations that have gone to Tory MPs. There is more of Putin's money in the Tories, right, than probably Putin's got for himself. Right. There's so much of Putin's money within the Tories, because remember they keep saying to you, oh, you know, these people, they keep telling you who is a Putin supporter, and then you find out, oh, those people are really good friends with this Tory MP or this Tory MP. Right? So he thinks that he can go and tell the Indians, well, you know, you've got to go, but he can't, because the Indians have probably just said to him, well, listen, I'll tell you what, yeah, if you want a trade deal with us, right, don't even think about coming and trying to lecture us about our relationship with Russia. Don't think about it. Because you know what, yeah, right now, right, you're in a weak position. They say, go in that room and take your trousers down and bend over. That's what the Indians is saying. That's what Indians is saying to his dad. You see, what's going to happen now is, because obviously you know that now I don't want you people to get upset about this, but you do know that a trade deal with India, right, will involve a lot of like freedom of movement, you know. And as I've said to you before, right, if you want to swap white Europeans, my white European brothers and sisters who I really enjoyed coming to this country and living over here, if you want to swap them for Indians, I have no problem. Because the thing, you know, all those Indians, they could all come and live down my road. I own business, right? Because I know one thing: if you get any of those Indians come and live anywhere near you, right? Well, a couple of doors away or down your road, right? Every minute, them people's bringing food around your house. Every minute. That's why they could all come and live down my road, because I know I'll never ever have to cook again in my life. Right? So, you know, so I don't mind, but that's what you've got to remember. When it comes to a trade deal with India, that's what you're opening yourself up to. Right? Now, I personally, right, think it's just a good thing to have much more Indians come to the country. I'm down with that. Right? You know, one of my best friends is Indian, and at his wedding, his wedding was absolutely fantastic. The only problem was there was no meat at the wedding, but the food was lovely, but there's no meat involved. Do you know what I mean? But he's a vegetarian, right? But when he's out with me, right, all of a sudden he eats meat. Never eat meat in front of his parents, though. Never once. Right? You know, it's just the same as what one of my Jewish friends, right, loves the bacon sandwich. Right? Box it down all the time. Same with one of my Muslim friends as well. Same thing. Box down a bacon sandwich like nobody's business, right? Or it's a ham roll, soft or crusty. Them men, they don't business. They just like box it down before, right? They could waft it down so quick, right, before anybody could even see them. Right? You have to know them good. Once you know them good, right? Then, you know, when you go to cafes and them things with them, you know what I mean? You see like a difference. You know what I mean? And like, you know, but especially my Jewish friends, they'd be like, listen, you know what this is, yeah. And they would have like a bacon roll like it's real contraband. Trust me, they have a real, like it's real. Like they're getting some heroin out there. Do you know what I mean? That's how it used to be. Like a mission, right, to have that bacon sandwich. Anyway, so India. So what you got to understand, yeah, is as I said, right, it comes with freedom of movement. And remember how they're talking about, oh, well, what we're going to be doing, right, is we're going to turn Britain into a high wage, let's just say community, or high wage earners in this country. But Boris Johnson's right now, yeah, trying to get a load of Indian workers that work in like IT. And you know already that with Brexit, your job is going to be the minimum wage jobs, because they don't allow people to come over here and do the minimum wage jobs. So therefore, that's going to be you who has to do the minimum wage jobs, while like the Indian workers come over to do the IT, the intelligent work. I don't know, right? But I would have thought that it would have been the other way around, that you would want your workforce to be highly skilled and people to come over and do low skill jobs. But it seems like that in this country, that's how much they think of you, right? Where you've got companies like McDonald's offering apprenticeships. Now listen, I worked in McDonald's when I was 16. There's nothing wrong with it. But an apprenticeship, right, is not on for people, for McDonald's to say, oh, we can offer you an apprenticeship. That's a load of bullocks, right? A load of male, not cows. They're not cows, because a load of bullocks in a field, load of them. Like that's what that is. There's a lot of bullocks. Right? To the fact that all they want for you, right, is for you to do minimum wage stuff, and they're going to get the Indians to come over, right, and do the highly skilled jobs. I don't know, right, but somehow, right, I think, right, they're taking the piss out of you. In fact, they're treating you like you're black. That's how they're treating you. Right? They're saying, you know what? Yeah, you lot, you can do the lowest work there is out there, right? And we'll get, right, foreigners to come and do all the highly skilled jobs, and you can work for them. That's it, and you can work for them. And some Brexit stuff, just some Brexit stuff in general, because you know what, yeah. Do you know who's pissing me off the most? These Brexiters are pissing me off. And I'll tell you why they are pissing me off. Right? Because they are really bad sports. They're terrible at it. Not as in sports, as in like football, tennis, or like that. I'm just talking about bad sports in general. Because I'm like, you could imagine that obviously I have a lot of fun on Twitter with the Brexiters. So, I'm emailing this, I'm like, tweeting this Brexit, so I texted him the story about the beetroot, the shameful scenes of the beetroot. So I said, well, when you voted for Brexit, right, was you voting for this type of thing? Right, because remember what they said to us. They said to us, well, we know what was voting for. So I said, well, you've seen the reality now. So was it this you was voting for? Oh, so he sent a message back saying, oh, look, the bots are attacking me. Bots. That's what it is. Now that's all they can come down to, because they haven't got any answers for anything when it comes down to it. No answers at all. right, all they've done, right, is set up the people in this country, especially the young people in this country who had a great future being in the EU. They've set them up now so that they can only do minimum wage jobs. And imagine, right, that in the EU say, well, actually, you can't come to France or to Germany or to Spain or to Italy or to Romania and do any minimum wage jobs. You stay right there. If you want to come to our country, right, you can only come over and do really highly skilled jobs. So now you've got people who might not have went to university or might not have went to college, but had plans to go into Europe to go and live. Because they could before. They could just go over there and they could have got a job in Costa's or McDonald's or in one of the shops or something like that. But now they can't. Suppose the EU do that to us as well. Right? That's going to take away even more opportunities for the youngsters in this country. Right? And you people really think, yeah, that these fools really care about the people of this country. How the hell could they care about the people of this country when they've set them up like that? Boris Johnson's in India right now doing a deal with the Indians, right, to bring over IT, right, workers, right, to do the IT work. How come they're not training up the kids over here to do the IT work? Why are they not training them up? You know why? Because they think that these people are a load of lazy bums. And you know these people's problem is they're idiots, they're fools, they're stupid, they've got no sense. They're damn foolish. Because they're still fighting this battle on racism. And this battle's not about racism. Right? Because, you see, rich people, they don't really care. Rich people can keep the same status quo because they don't really bother. It's not bothering them. Right? So you've got your upper classes now, right? And I'm talking about your real upper classes, your true Tories and those type of people, yeah, who like to keep the culture wars going because the only way they can get away with this is by keeping the culture wars going. Because the real problem in this country, yeah, it's not racism, it's classism. But they sell it to you as racism, and if you buy that, then you look at me and think that I'm the problem. That's like the guy who sat in, you got three guys. Oh no, I'll give you an analogy. What one of my contributors give me, right? The man who earns £1,000 an hour has convinced the man who earns £100 an hour that the man who earns £10 an hour is the problem. And it's a perfect analogy for how things work. The people who are earning thousands of pounds an hour are convincing, the people who are much further down the line to them, they're not the problem. The people below you, the people who are on minimum wage, and the people who are going to food banks because they, minimum wage, they're getting too much money. That's how they sell it. So and they can manage to do that because your minds are stupid and you're thick and your minds are colluded with racism. And until you get past that, you will never get onto the position what the true story is. The true story is classism. I'm going to give you one more thing. Right? Just look at the difference on how Britain is handling COVID. Apart from let's say China, for example. China's had much less deaths than we've had. Much less. You talk about Shanghai, just over I think 2,000 or something like that in deaths, right? But look at the difference now, right? Over here in England, this is England, right? It's go to work, take your COVID, go to work, infect all your work colleagues. Don't worry about it, just infect them. In China, we'll weld your door closed. We'll have drones over you telling you to get the fuck home. Right? We'll lock down your whole block of flats. Right? And over here we've still got 300 and something people a day dying. Why is it, yeah, that the Chinese seem to value the lives of their people more than the English value the lives of our people? Because in Scotland, that's not the advice to go to work. It's not the advice in Scotland. The advice in England is go to work, infect everybody, and hurry up and die. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.